Right, let's see. Right, good evening, people. I can see a few of you coming on now. How's it going? How are you all? Evening. Quite a few of you coming on now. That's cool. Right, I'll get my thank yous underway then. Hello, everyone. Right, it's Lee Ashby here from Motocross and Speedway Memories. I'll get into my thank yous quickly. Just a big thanks for the support to Simon Pardo of White Eagle Finance. They give quality financial advice for pensions, mortgages, investments and protection. Check the website out at www.whiteeaglefinance.co.uk. Big thanks to the legend Stefan Everts with his S72 gin and vodka brand. Check out his amazing products out at www.s72gin.com. And also big thanks to Lee Owen of Owen Developments. They specialise in supplying turbochargers to a global customer base covering motorsport, performance aftermarket and OEM sectors. Check them out on the shop side at www.turbos.com and also www.owendevelopments.co.uk. Right then, people. Got a special guest on this evening, and I will get the introduction underway right here, right now. Here we go. Right then, people. This man was the AMA Pro Rookie of the Year in 1987. He is 3 times AMA 250 Outdoor Motocross Champion, 3 times AMA 250 Supercross Champion, 3 times Motocross the Nations winner for Team USA. He was inducted into the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame. It's Mr. 6-time himself, absolute legend, and a privilege to have him on this evening, Mr. Jeff Stanton. How's it going, Jeff?
Hey, it's good. How's everybody over there?
Not too bad over in the UK. A bit cold, but what's it like in Michigan?
I'm sitting in my truck right now, actually waiting for a feed truck to come to one of my farms. And my truck says it's 34 degrees. And so that degrees Fahrenheit, however that works out. It's not, for Michigan this time of year, it's unseasonably warm.
Bloody hell, that's quite nice then. So that's quite decent. It's not that here. It's borderline on the minus.
Really?
Yes, not good. Not good. It's a bit foggy, misty, that type of feel. So yeah, we're getting well into the winter over here. They've even talked about snow, so.
Awesome.
Right then, so we'll get into this then, Jeff. I know you're multitasking.
Yeah. I
appreciate
the feed truck just pulled in. I got to show him what to do, but we'll get it done.
Yeah, just, no worries. You can do that. You can do that. I can speak to the people a minute and check their questions as we're waiting.
Oh no, go ahead. Shoot some questions. I'm all good.
All right then. Here we go then. So, Jeff, how did you get into motocross? And what was your earliest memory of the sport? And what bike were you on when you started?
Well, I started, when I was 6 years old, on the family farm right here where I am right now. Wow. As a little kid, riding an MR50 when I was just a little duggar. And everybody raced. Yep. My mom raced, my dad raced, my brother raced. We did it as a family, And so, you know how it works. One thing led to another, just like all professional guys do. They start off on a little mini bike and work their way up. So racing right here in Michigan, back in the day, as I would say, Michigan was, it was so many great riders came from Michigan. Eddie Warren, Keith Bowen, all the Bigelow brothers. And so amateur racing in Michigan back in the mid 80s was just phenomenal.
Awesome. We're already getting some hellos from Holland and obviously plenty from the UK already flying in, but we get the supporters in from all over the place here. Right, another one I've got for you. What riders did you look up to and idolize when you were young, Jeff? And did you get to ever ride against any of your heroes or idols?
I did. So when I was at that, kind of a really good, pretty good amateur guy, and just starting to watch the professional ranks, Bob Hanna was the guy, and so, it's just how it works when, different than, a amateur kid when I was at my peak. He was looking up to me, and the next person, Jeremy McGrath, whoever's winning, that's who you look up to. And so Bob Hanna was winning. He was flashy. He was a little bit arrogant, very cocky. And so I looked up to that. He was just winning and dominating. And so, yes, it was an honor to race against Bob Hanna in his last year on a Suzuki in the States when it was my first year on a Honda. And so, it's always an honor to race somebody like that. And it was an honor as well, going back to the UK, my first Motocross of Nations. It was in Geldorf, Germany. And so as I was going over there, I had it in mind that Dave Thorpe was more scared to race Dave Thorpe than I was to race anybody. And so to race Dave at that race and to beat him, that was that's up there on my list. And so Dave's a great guy and, been a good ambassador for the sport and done well for everybody over there. So I always think about Dave in that race as well.
Okay, cool. I've got some questions firing in from the people here. One's from YouTube, and they put Tim Dobson. He's put, were you and JMB friends off the track in 92 seasons? The rivalry was quite intense. Were you friends off the track as well? Did you get that, Jeff? I've lost you here for a bit, I think. Did you get that, Jeff? I think I've lost you there for a second.
A little bit. And we communicate. Did you hear? Can you hear me?
It's just cutting up a little bit, I think. Hopefully we'll get it back on in a second.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now a little bit, yeah.
Soybeans, cracked corn, but it's a grain bin. Maybe it'll be a little better. Better?
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit now. Is that all right? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Is that good?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know if you heard that. I don't know if you heard that question from YouTube. It was, were you and JMB friends off the track? Obviously, 91, 92 seasons. Someone, Tim put the rivalry was obviously intense.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
So you know what? We communicated just a little bit. It was probably more my fault than anybody. I used it probably as an excuse. I was in my racing day. I was kind of grumpy and mean, and so I probably didn't go out of my way to communicate as much as I should have with JMB.
Yeah.
We communicate now after we're grown-up men. We communicate now way more than we ever did back then. So
yeah.
But there wasn't a lot of communication during those.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's quite hard, Jeff, isn't it, to be sort of friendly with people that you're obviously they're sort of enemies out on the track to a degree.
Yeah,
aren't you?
I think kids nowadays are a lot different. They all train together, ride together. Back in the day, dude, I did everything by myself. I didn't want to train with anybody. And then now look at Florida. It's they're all at one training facility, and it's like, dude, there's no way I could have done that. There's no way.
Yeah.
So. Things are a lot different now than they were back then.
Right, we've got another question here. Right, let's have a look. Everyone's sort of commenting, what a legend. What was Roger Herb Gerlins has put from Holland? What did Roger de Costa mean to your career? What influence did he have on your career in any way?
It may be a little noisy while they're filling this grain bin real quick.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
So it'll take me 5 minutes to do this. But Roger was an icon. He's an icon in Europe, and he is here. And so to be able to have Roger in my corner when he was at Honda and I was at Honda, and his wealth of knowledge, traveling and bike setup, he was phenomenal. He was great. The worst thing Honda did is to get rid of him, and the best thing KTM did is to hire him. So Rod, he's just he's the man. Everybody knows it. He's up there on all the pedestals. And look what he's done. KTM hired him, and he went and hired some of the best, and just made it all happen. So super great.
I've got someone on here on Facebook who put, did Jeff enjoy riding the VMX Donations at Farley Castle? Did you enjoy it?
I'm sure you can hear that.
Definitely.
There you go. Oh, he just shut it off. If you can hear me, yes, I love what Dave has done there.
Yeah.
Dave King's done a great job.
Yeah.
No, put the beans right, or crack corn in the next one. No, it doesn't matter. So sorry. Yeah, what Dave King's done there. Listen, vintage racing is just gone crazy. I don't have to tell you guys that.
Yeah.
It's more popular over there than it is here, and so it's getting more and more popular here because it's what people can afford, dude. I don't have any buddies that can go out and spend $8,000 or $9,000 on a new motorcycle.
I know.
And so it's what people can afford. And so what Dave's raised the bar to that whole deal over there. And listen, honestly, this is the straight up. I don't tell too many people this. This is straight up truth. The reason I stopped going over there is because, dude, it's just too fast. I'm not sure I want to go that fast anymore.
I know.
And
like,
so
your Mike Browns of this world are still pro, aren't they?
Yeah. And so it's gotten so fast that I don't have it in me to be able to slow down. You know what I'm saying? So as a racer, you push yourself, and I don't want to slow down, but then I don't want to be hurt either. So I haven't been able to tell my mind to slow down, if that makes any sense. There's some racers out there that, if at some point my brain can tell my hand to slow down and I can go over and enjoy it, I'll do it. But until then, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. I think I feel the same way about riding again myself. Right. You rode a Yamaha before the Honda, didn't you, Jeff?
Say that one more time.
Did you rode a Yamaha, didn't you? Before you went to Honda, you rode a Yamaha. What was that like?
Yes, I did. I rode Yamahas for my whole amateur career. I was on a Yamaha. And I raced professionally for 3 years on a Yamaha. And, back then everybody wanted to be on Honda. And once I made the switch, I just started dominating on a Honda. So nothing bad against Yamaha, but back in the late 80s, early 90s, there was only one place to be in America, and that was on a red bike. And so I was fortunate enough to be able to make that happen.
Got someone on Facebook said, can Jeff remember at the Farley that on a Mugen Honda, him taking his hand off the handlebar and saluting me, apparently?
No, I don't remember that. Sorry.
It's all going on at Farley, wasn't it?
Oh, everything happens there. And since I've been there, it's way more popular. Yeah,
for sure. Got a Chris West on YouTube. He put, you were one of my all-time favourite riders. So that was another nice comment there. Kevin Wheeler put, what a legend and a true professional. Let's have a look here. Getting a lot of nice comments, Jeff.
Sorry, say that again.
There's a lot of nice comments coming in. Chris West put, you were my all-time favourite rider. Kevin
Awesome.
Wheeler put, what a legend and a true professional. There's a lot of nice comments coming in. Stuart Edmonds has put your favourite track you ever rode and the worst track that you didn't like.
Do we have to say the worst track? I don't want to make anybody mad. Just
yeah,
kidding.
Why not? Why
not? No, you know what? I was I enjoyed the sand. So I did great at Daytona and Southwick, Massachusetts. Those races where you just won almost every time you went there. So I didn't have too many tracks. I was not a hard packed track rider, and that goes back to that Dave Thorpe that I was talking about. Everybody knows what Geldorf, Germany's like.
Yeah, hard.
I mean, oh my gosh, dude, it is hard as Toby's balls there. And,
yeah, it's like Blue Groove, isn't it?
Oh, it was so Blue Groove. And so to go there, and I was not a hard pack specialist by any means. To go there and to win both motos and not to keep tooting my horn to beat Dave Thorpe. Amazing, that was awesome. Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, really cool.
And so I enjoyed Southwick. I enjoyed Daytona. You would have thought that I would be good at Redbud because it was my home state, my home track, but I just never did really good there. Redbud back then and Redbud now is two different stories, dude. Not even close.
Yeah. So you quite liked you quite liked the sand, didn't you? And sort of the rough going.
Yeah. The rougher, the better. Motocross the Nations, Vimmerby, I think it's called. Sweden, sandy, gnarly, rough. So I did really good there as well, just because the rougher the better, the hotter. That was kind of always my deal.
What about Unadilla? That was another good one you liked, wasn't it?
Unadilla was good. I won most all of the GPs there, most of those races. Again, rough, gnarly, most of the time muddy and ruddy. So yeah, I
remember you racing them sort of in weird numbers you had to sort of use, didn't you, on the GPs and stuff?
Yes,
it's a bit unusual.
Yep.
Right, I got Gary David has put would you have liked to have rode in the GPs in Europe, the World Championships?
Sorry, I'm got one more auger to do.
That's all right, no worries.
You know what? I was American guy, and so that was back then. It was more kind of prestigious to do the Supercross and the American side. I think so.
Yeah.
The American side of it is going to be noisy here one more time, and then we'll be done.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So listen, I raced as many races in Europe as I did in the States back when we had those invite races. Bercy and. Gosh, all of those. Yeah, there was just so many of them. So I did a lot of racing in Europe, not a lot of GPs, but the Masters of Motocross and all those invitational Supercrosses back in the day.
Yep. Did you like? Did you enjoy Bercy and all those indoor ones like that?
I did, and to be quite honest with you, it was a great paycheck, so you had to do it. It was a lot. It was a lot different back then than it is now. There was a lot of money to be made there. So, you almost had to. You couldn't turn it down.
Yeah, big shows, wasn't it? Big shows, big introductions, and all that sort of thing.
Absolutely. Yep.
It looked good on the TV. We always seen it in Europe, so it was really cool. Also, one of the people that was making the comments was Dave King, and he said, "Thanks for your kind words, Jeff." From Dave King.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no worries, Dave. I'm good.
Someone's put, is that a pink JT hat someone's put? Jeff's multitasking. As you can see, Jeff still works on the farm.
Okay, I think my work is about done here, so I'll go somewhere where it's quiet.
Cool, thank you.
So
we'll take you any way we can, Jeff.
That's just poor timing. The feed company calls and says, it's
got to be done. Got to be done.
Yeah. So anyway, so go ahead. It's all good now.
someone else has no name on that. Someone's put, ask if he knows Brian Jorgensen.
Brian
Do you know Brian
Jorgensen
Jorgensen? Danish rider.
It's a blast from the past. I remember the name. I'm probably not a face, but yeah.
Yeah. Someone's put, is that a pink hat from back in the day? Is it JT?
That's not JT. That's a pink hat, but it's a Carhartt hat to keep my bald head warm. That's my. As we get older, I lost most of my hair, so it's to keep my bald head warm.
Everyone's talking about Brock Glover because he obviously used to like the pink kit and stuff, didn't he?
all around the farming industry here, everybody is always bagging me on my pink hat. I got 3 or 4 of them. I wear different colors, but it's all good.
It's fashionable now, isn't it? It's fashionable to wear pink now, Jeff. Don't worry, it's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah.
Paul Byrne from YouTube has put, what was your favorite track in Europe? Did you have a favorite track that you raced in Europe?
I would have to say it would be Majora.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Majora. Yeah.
Yeah, I did a Masters of Motocross there, and just all those hills and all them big jumps. It was that was a pretty awesome outdoor venue.
Someone's talking about the Arai helmet bringing out the Jeff Stanton replica lid. How does he feel about that?
Oh, that's awesome. You know, Arai called me halfway through last year and says, hey, we want to bring the signature model back out in the new helmet. And so I'm like, yeah, absolutely. You know, they've been a great sponsor for years. I don't even have to ask them. Helmets show up at the door every year. And so I was loyal to my people. You know, goggle companies, clothing companies, helmet companies. And so, I mean, how many years later when, you know, stuff still shows up at the door and you don't even have to ask for it, that to me, that's cool. It's awesome. Same way with Alpine Star boots, you know, they just show up. And so, you know, that kind of stuff goes a long way. So for them to bring the helmet out and to have Justin Barcia use it at the end of last year, awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I remember this picture. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but I remember this quite was iconic for the Scott.
Oh, yeah.
And then I presume these ones were a couple of Motocross the Nations ones, were they?
Yeah. Them are all in my basement in my trophy room. Yeah, absolutely.
Really cool. That looks really cool. Love that.
Yeah. Those are Motocross the Nation stuff. That's cool.
So you keep a lot of your gear then, Jeff?
Yes, I kept all of that stuff. I've got one off of everything. I've got a huge museum in my basement. And quite honestly, I'm really wanting to do something with it. Area. You know, I got 10 or 15 people see it a year, and I would love for it to go to a museum somewhere. But, you know, everything's got to be just perfect in order for me to do that. So there's just so much history there. And, you know, to have 4 or 5 people see it is one thing, but to have it in a museum and have 100,000 people see it, that's kind of really my next goal with all of it.
Yeah, that'd be very good. Got James Stanton on Facebook. He's put, hi, Jeff. What was your favorite bike and team you rode for?
My favorite bike was actually that 89-90 bike that we had at American. Didn't matter where we were, the thing just was super good, and I would have to say that was my best era. You know, I won most everything in 89 and 90, so of course I'm going to tell you that was the best bike. That's just naturally how we roll.
yeah, exactly that. Yeah, exactly that. Who was your closest rivals in your career then, Jeff, and who did you enjoy racing with the most? You had some good rivals, didn't you? Bradshaw and...
I did. I had some great rivals. So Damon was my best rival, just because Damon and I were good buddies, and we had respect for each other. So we could race each other hard, and I knew Damon wasn't going to take me out, and he knew I wasn't going to take him out. And to have that mutual respect for each other,
that's good.
Was priceless. And so our battles, we had some battles that were just beyond belief. And so and then you have some that were just the opposite. You had some that you knew that were going to take you out, so you had to race them different. You had to know your competition. Here, I'll just flip it around. I'm in the bike. Some
nice.
vintage bikes going on there right now.
Yeah, it's also very cool. Very nice.
Old 125 that I restored, an 89 CR 500 that I restored.
Wow.
So some newer bikes, and back in the corner at 86 250 that I just did last year. So kind of
very nice. Love that. Love a bit of that.
So
here we go. I got Ben Rumbold. He put, did Jeff realise that the French once extended a race once when Bale was catching him? And did he push to get more money as compensation? I don't know where that is. That like a Bercy or something? I would imagine maybe if it was in France.
If it was in France, it had to be Bercy.
Had to be Bercy. Yeah.
I don't know anything about it. I'm not going to comment on that.
Okay. So I'm not sure about that then. That's up in the air. Right, here we go. Oh yeah, what were your actually thoughts in general with JMB then, Jeff? Obviously, he was very talented. Obviously.
Yes, JMB was super talented, and that's honestly probably what frustrated me the most, is because I worked my nuttons off, training and riding. And I'll tell you a quick story. So back in the day, we had Honda Land. I don't know if anybody had ever heard of Honda Land. It was Honda's test track in Simi Valley, California. And I know you'll remember the picture. And so I'm out on the Supercross track, just putting in the laps, just busting my butt. And I look over, and JMB is on the side of this mountain after a rain, and he's carving his initials, J. And he'd get off the bike, turn it around, and do the backwards J. And once he got the J all cut in, he rolled his bike over and he carved out an M in the side of the mountain, and then a B. And so all you can see is this JMB. It's like he held the brake and spun the tire, so it was less like green everywhere except where it was JMB. I'm busting my balls on the Supercross track, burning laps, and I look over, and this guy took all damn day and carved JMB in the hillside, and then he went and kicked my ass on the weekend. It's like, what am I doing wrong? So everybody took approach differently. I had to work hard. So mentally, I knew I was prepared on the starting line. And some guys, they just kind of rolled with it, So nothing bad against JMB. One of the most talented guys on a dirt bike, and everybody will admit, on a dirt bike, and then go to street and do what he did there. It's just he was phenomenal.
Yeah. Top right. What about what your actual thoughts on Damon Bradshaw? They'll go for a couple of riders while we're talking about riders.
Damon, like I said earlier, Damon and I had respect for each other. Super talented. When I was on a Yamaha in my amateur career, I was on a 250. Damon was on an 80, and so we hung out, kind of as buddies back then, and so we've known each other since we were, boys. And so he was super talented. Listen, no different than Kevin Windham. If you could take a guy and listen, I'll put Justin Barsha in that same category. Justin's a great buddy of mine. I trained him for 3 years. And the reason I trained him because I really wanted him super talented, but I really wanted him to break to that next level. For talented in the sport. They sometimes don't feel like they have to put in the work because they're just going to make up for it in talent. Well, that doesn't happen. It's we see it all the time. We do. It's just part of the deal. If those guys that are talented, if they could work out and figure out both sides of that, they'd be invincible. You talked about Stefan and his gin deal. He was super talented, but he worked out. It was in great shape, and it paid off for many, many years, for a long duration over there. So there's guys that can figure it out. but there's guys, you know, like we just talked about, that can't and or didn't figure it out.
What about Kevin Wheeler's mentioned on Facebook as well? What about Jeff Ward?
Oh, Jeff was a great guy. Jeff and I got along really well. We could battle each other and know that we weren't going to take each other out. Jeff and I get along great now as well. You know, for his body size and what he packed, he was phenomenal. Really, he was. You know, it's a Ricky Carmichael. It's a hindrance with them short legs and short body in some circumstance. Motorcycler.
Just lost you a little bit there.
Did I lose you?
Yeah, just a little bit. It's back again now. Yeah, so you were, and what about, obviously, you were sort of had part of your career with Ricky Johnson as well, didn't you? Can you hear me now, Jeff?
So I think we're talking about RJ, are we not?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, RJ.
Are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So, gosh, really the reason that I had success as much as I had, and I've told people this, is because of Rick Johnson. He was the reason that I went to Honda. He put in the good word at American Honda for me. And so I mean, I put in the work, but I wouldn't have been at American Honda if I didn't give him some great battles on a YZ 490 in the 500cc class back in 88, 87. I battled with him on that wind-cooled, radiator pinging 490 Yamaha when he was on his Honda 500. So he put in a good word for me, and we were good teammates. 89, I lived with him for 6 months. I learned a ton from him. He came out, won the first 6 or 7 Supercrosses. I was second because we trained and we rode together every day. And then he got hurt at the first Outdoor National, and I was just fortunate to be there and to take over. And so RJ meant a lot to me in my career. I wished he wouldn't have went out the way he did, and we could have battled, you know, straight up, you know, you know, I hear it all the time. Well, the only reason Stanton won is because RJ got hurt. It is, hey, welcome to racing. Okay. It is what it is, but, we get along great now. We had some issues for a while, jealousy issues, and, you know, once men were men and figured it out and talked about it, it is what it is. But you know, and I can see his side of it. So, but it's all good. It's all good.
As we're Simon Hauser just brought up here about Mike Healy, because we actually had a live interview with Mike Healy as well.
No kidding. No
as
kidding.
You can imagine, it was quite interesting.
Dang, I bet.
Yeah, he brought up obviously the bit about you going over, was it Japan or? Yeah.
So listen, this is I'm going to tell
you.
Go
on, yeah.
I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't give a crap. I don't give a crap what he said. Okay. So I had it in my contract that I had to race 2 Japanese races every year. Okay. And back in the day, there was always 2 Supercrosses, Osaka and Tokyo. And so at that year, there was only Tokyo that was going to happen. And so I had to go to Japan and race the GP. So I'm just fulfilling my contractual deeds. And so Dave Arnold, the team manager, myself, and my mechanic, we flew over there, going to race the GP. So I went there to win the dang race, collect the bonus, and not be in any part of any championship battle. I knew that if I just went and won, what happens behind with those guys happens. That's the way it played out. Unfortunately, he was, you know, in the middle of that, and I went out and went 1-1. And man, after the second moto, he was all pissed off. He pulled into the podium, jumped off his bike, came over, and just started beating the dog shit out of me with my Arai helmet on. Okay. Next thing I know is my mechanic comes over and just does a WWF. And so I'm a lover. I'm not a fighter. I'll be the first to admit. I didn't throw a punch. I was the hero out of the deal because I just walked away from it, you know, the bigger man. I get his frustration. I know, championship battle, didn't win a bonus, did win a bonus. However it worked out. But I was just doing what I was supposed to do. Go there, win both motos, collect my bonus money, fulfill my contract. And it just happened that he was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
So what was that all about? Because he said, like, afterwards, he said that he went to a motocross back in America then. And then he said he pulled up by your truck or something, and something about you and J&B had a title to battle out, and he made his presence known and stuff like that. I don't know what was your side of that.
Oh, I don't even remember that. And for him to come into a conversation with JMB and myself and think that he's going to be a part of a championship battle or even be at the same speed with us was a joke to begin with.
That's that settled then. Right, okay, cool. Thanks for the information anyway. I appreciate that. Right, Paul Byrne from YouTube put, what did you enjoy racing outdoors more, the 500 or the 250?
Gosh, I finished second in the 500 national championship 7 years in a row.
Wow.
I just never won that dang title. I enjoyed riding the 500. Dude, I was a big fat farm boy, honestly. Early in my career, I leaned out towards the end and got all into training and everything. But I won amateur national championships on the 500. I was a big bike rider and turned myself into a 250 Supercross champ and 250 outdoor champ. But I love the 500s. I did.
What did you have a favorite race number? I know you guys obviously had a finish in where you finished in the title if you had number 1 and things like that. But did you actually have a favorite number and there was a reason for that? Or?
Dude, my favorite number was number 1. Are you kidding me? That's what we wanted.
Yeah. Who's going to say that?
It's not like it is now. So this is my golden.
How's it? Oh, it's a beauty. What's the name?
That's Sadie.
Sadie.
Yeah, that's Sadie.
Nice.
So Sadie, you say hi.
Hi, Sadie, from the UK.
Can you see my other one? There's my King Charles Cavalier in the back seat.
Not interested at all.
No, he's 14 years old. He's old.
Oh, he's chilling. He's chilling out.
Yeah, he's grandpa. So hey, listen, before I lose you, because I'm gonna lose you here in a little bit. I'm running low on battery. In 10 days, or 2 weeks, I'm starting a new business. Okay. It's something that I've always wanted to do. Michigan is beautiful. Just like your country, motocross is dying in this state. It's dying in really everywhere. It's falling apart. Adventure riding is where it's at. I know they do a bunch of adventure riding in Europe. I have just done a big deal with Triumph Motorcycles as well. Ricky Carmichael's the spokesman for him. Jeff Stanton is a spokesman advisor for him. I am starting Jeff Stanton Adventures in Michigan. I'm doing 3-day rides and 5-day rides starting this year. I just met with the web people. I hope to have the website all up and going before Christmas and start booking people. I've been telling Ricky Carmichael adventure riding is kind of the new way. It's that 40, 50, 60-year-old man that used to race, enjoys racing, and wants to ride and come hang out with us and do some adventure riding. Michigan has so much to offer. There's so much color and so much beauty. And so I'm only going to do mine in the fall. I'm doing it August, September, and October. 3-day rides, 5-day rides.
Wow. Sounds cool.
So before I lose you, I wanted to put 2 cents in there. I'm going to do a major launch, and I want to do that before Christmas, and it'll be all over Racer X, and so we can talk about that later. But Jeff Stanton Adventures coming soon.
Oh wow! So that was a bit of an exclusive there, then.
Listen, you're the first one. I really wanted to wait and do just one huge launch, but I'm like, you know what? I got all these people online. I might as well on this podcast. I might as well throw in my 2 cents on it real quick.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Yeah, sure. So, do you need to go? Is your phone dead? Did you say he's going to die?
Hey, when it dies, it dies. I got about 5%. So when it's gone, I love you all. We'll do it again. But okay, cool. So let's just keep rolling. We're good.
Okay, cool. Did you have any superstitions, Jeff, when you rode?
Yeah, gosh, you know what's funny? Let's go back to Japan. I was in Japan, 1989 Tokyo Supercross. I dominated. I killed everybody that weekend. I was invincible. And I forgot all of my underwear on that trip.
No.
And I didn't wear I didn't wear underwear that whole trip. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Is that crazy? My wife tells that story to everybody. So that was my only superstition. Is I just, motocross riders, they're stupid, freaky like that. So I guess mentally the reason I thought I won and did so well is because I didn't have underwear on, so I never wore them again.
Brilliant. Like you do. Did you have any favorite gear, Jeff? You had some nice gear. I remember you had some really nice AXO gear over the years and stuff like that.
Yeah, the AXO gear was great. Jim Hale over here, they had a crew that was just super phenomenal. Damon and myself in the early 90s, mid 90s. It was phenomenal. So AXO gear, Alpine Star boots, Arai helmets, Scott goggles, that was my mainstay.
Yeah, that's what you think of when you think of Jeff Stanton. You think of all them things. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Did you have any big injuries, Jeff, in your career that you think maybe even held you back from winning more or anything? Did you have any?
No, I didn't. I was fit. I was cautious. I was there every weekend, and so no big injuries. Nope.
That was a good thing, though. Any other sports you like watching or doing, or?
Watching. I love to watch. Actually, honestly. No BS. I watch all of the MXGPs and the MotoGPs, and I don't even watch any. I don't watch any racing in the States anymore. The racing in the States has become too boring. And dude, I love the MotoGPs right now. And what those guys do in MotoGP on the asphalt, those guys are freaking unbelievable. And then the MXGPs, those guys are fast right now. They're riding really good. So I enjoy watching MX and MotoGP, both of them. So
interesting. Cool.
I mean, I follow our racing on social media, so I don't watch it on TV. So I'm pumped about what's going on in Europe. They do a good job.
So when you retired from racing, you worked for Honda. What did that entail then? What was that job you did?
So I was a consultant for them. My job was to work with the riders at the track. If they wanted to come stay with me, they could come stay with me, and we trained throughout the week. And so I did that for 10 years. Traveled the circuit, did some hiring for them, hired guys like Ezra Lusk and Ricky Carmichael and worked with them. Ricky and I became good buddies, worked with Ricky a lot. And then quite honestly, my kids got older. I was missing sporting events, and it's like, okay, life goes too fast. I'm not going to miss my kids' activities. And so I stopped doing that and back home. Fortunately, there's life after racing, which is a problem in our sport. These kids start out on mini bikes and amateurs and professional, and they don't have nothing to fall back on. It's a problem in our sport. And so once they're done racing, they don't know what to do, where to go. And for me, we farm 4,000 or 5,000 acres back here. There's always something to do to keep me busy back here. I raise whitetail deer. If you follow me on social media, I raise whitetail deer. I've got a whitetail deer business. I own a wedding venue. I do 50 weddings a year at my stone barn, my wedding venue. So I got a couple of niches, and it's been good. And now I'm gonna start another one. My wife says I got a hole in my head. My wife's a doctor, so she's gone all the time. So really, it's just me and my dogs all day, every day, basically. And so this adventure thing is like, she's like, why do you want to do this? What's going on here? So I'm excited to showcase Triumph Adventure bikes. Tiger 900 is what we're going to be riding, and so I'm excited to showcase them in this new adventure business. But going back to it, there's so many. I look at Johnny O'Mara. He was successful and then got out of racing. Fortunately, found mountain bikes, but born in California, he couldn't pick up a bale of hay, let alone try to feed a bale of hay to an animal, or go drive a tractor or anything. So it's an issue with our sport. I know Ryan Dungey quite well, and when he retired, he's like, Jeff, what do I do? When you race motorcycles your whole life, there's nothing. If you don't have a family business or something that you've done to keep yourself busy, they kind of get lost and start searching. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to be busy. Good to be busy afterwards.
Absolutely. 100%. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But sounds very exciting, your new adventure, and I imagine a lot of people will be interested in that. So I think that'd be very cool.
Yeah, I think I see what Ben Townley's
Yes,
done
spoke to him. Yeah.
with his. He started his adventure business. Yeah, and so I've been telling Ricky Carmichael this for years, and so he finally just saw it. He went over there and did Ben's ride and done a ride in Australia, and so I think it's the future of riding because like I said, it's that man that's almost retired that rode back in the day that doesn't want to spend $8,000 on a 450 and try to go beat himself up on a track, but would love to go just ride dirt trails and 2-track roads and explore
have some fun.
Explore New Zealand, explore Michigan, and that's kind of where I'm going with it.
Very interesting. If you had to say, what was your most memorable race, Jeff, that still sticks in your memory today? Is there something that would stand out if I asked you?
Well, that one I talked about with Dave Thorpe, I talk about that race all the time, dude. I'm not joking. That was a
He'd like that as well.
Yeah, I'm sure he would. That was a memorable race for me. Just because it was hard pack. If you go back and watch Geldorf, Germany, Motocross of Nations, dude, that track was asphalt hard. I started in the second row behind Wardy. That's back when they had 80 bikes on the track, two rows, and I came out like fourth on the start and just pulled away from everybody. So it was a donations. You always want to do good at them, and there were some marquee people there, and so that's a great one. And then in the States, watch LA Supercross 1992 when Damon buckled and I won and won the title. You can't go wrong with that one either.
No, that was beautiful. Was there any specific Supercrosses you liked more than others?
The rougher the better, the gnarlier the better. Goes back to what I've been saying. I struggled on the hard pack just because I was wide open, and you had to have good throttle. You had to have good throttle control, and so I was better at Daytona. I was always better when we came back east and the dirt was a little more moist and got ruddy and more technical.
Someone's just mentioned about Robin Stanton's mentioned about Guy Cooper. What a rider he was. What was your thoughts about Guy Cooper and your experiences with him?
Yeah, Guy and I was great friends. So let me tell you a quick story before this battery dies. LA Supercross 1992. Okay, we're pushing our bikes up to the start line. Guy Cooper comes over and gives me a hug. He says, "Dude, I'm gonna do whatever I can to make sure I beat Damon Bradshaw." And I looked at him and said, "Thanks, buddy. That's awesome." I don't know if you can recall. I can recall. I'll tell you straight up. Guy Cooper pulls a hole shot at that race. Okay, lets me over like the second or third turn, and he rides the ride of his life and ends up on the podium at that race. And so that's my Guy Cooper story. He came to me and said, "Dude, whatever it takes, I'm gonna beat Damon today." And he pulled the whole shot and just put on a phenomenal Guy Cooper ride and ended up on the box that night. And so Guy and I are good friends.
And if that battery does go off, before it goes off, it's been a privilege and an honor just to meet you, mate. So I'd really appreciate your time. We'll have to definitely do another part when you've got a bit more time. Obviously, you had the 3 outdoor titles. Did you prefer the Supercross or the Motocross, or did you just like both the same? Or
well, it goes back to what I said. I was a fat farm boy, and so I came from the outdoor background. I was really got hired to do the outdoor stuff, but adapted to Supercross, lived with RJ, learned the trait, and got better at Supercross. And so I enjoyed them both. I did. My background's outdoor, and I would still prefer to ride an outdoor track today. So, for sure.
Inducted into the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame. That must have been pretty cool for yourself. How did that feel? That must have been special.
Yeah, that's awesome. All of those are just rings on your belt, and so awesome privilege to be a part of any of those.
I've got someone on here saying, if you had the power to change anything about motocross or Supercross, what would it be, Jeff? It's a bit of an open one.
Our sport right now is it's what I call self-funded. We're kind of dying because motocross is funded by amateurs, and if amateurs aren't buying bikes, then teams don't have the money. I mean, teams are hurting. You see it. Geico's done. Suzuki's done. There's not enough promotion in America to promote Supercross there's too many individual promoters making the money, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's just a self-funded sport, and it's only going to go so far until it's promoted better and advertised better to where there's more outside sponsors. Listen, dude, if it wasn't for Monster and Red Bull, we're done.
Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah.
We're done. It's a self-funded sport that cannot rely on itself to survive. That's it. It has to be promoted. It's that. I mean, that's the bottom line. It's harsh. That's harsh words, but it is what it is. If promoters want it to continue to happen, they have to open up their pocketbooks and help the manufacturers, help promote it, get more outside sponsors in, and it has to be promoted better, because amateur guys buying our bikes is not going to pay the salaries and pay for the bikes and pay for mechanics and trucks on the road. I mean, we've been seeing it the last 5-10 years. It's falling apart. The wheels are coming off the semis.
Yeah, not good, mate.
No,
if you could give any advice to any youngster that wants to go professional motocross, what would your advice be?
Well, for me, it's hard work. I wasn't the most talented. So you have to equal them out. You have to put in a lot of hard work, put in your time, do things right. It'll all get put together. You can't just rely on talent alone. Talent's only going to get you so far. Ken Roxon's super talented. He works his butt off, but he just hasn't had the luck fall his way. So put in the time, stay healthy, and make it happen.
What do you think of some of the guys in Europe now, like the Jeffrey Hurlins, Caroli, them sort of guys? Have you got to see much of them?
Oh, I will tell you, I watch all of them. Caroli's, he's awesome. He's been there forever. I see he just had knee surgery or something. So,
I just see that. Yeah,
but he's a legend. Jeffrey, I was around when Jeffrey was young and wild and reckless, so I lost a little bit of respect for him just because he was so damn mouthy, and I'm just not that way. I think he's mellowed out a little bit now, but it's almost going to be too late. I mean, he can't take a couple of years off and come back and beat those guys. He's talented and fast, but he lost a lot of my respect the way he runs his mouth and treats people. And you don't disrespect people and treat people in life and continue to have success. It's a thing called karma. And so maybe what's happening to him is what we call karma.
Interesting.
Is that a little too harsh?
That's all for you. What would you consider the 3 best riders that you've ever competed with, Jeff? Who would you say if you had to say that?
That I competed with?
Yeah. There's a lot of top guys, isn't there?
Yeah. Back in the day, gosh, there were so many guys that would win. Let's go back to Rick Johnson, Ronnie Lachine, Jeff Ward, Johnny O'Mara, Damon Bradshaw, JMB. I mean, the list goes on and on. There was some Mike Kudrowski, Mike LaRocco. I mean, there was guys. There was 7 to 10 different guys that could win a Supercross any night of the week. Unlike it is right now. But for me, it would have to be Bradshaw, because we had great battles, and JMB because we went in championship battles. So those would have to obviously be my top slingers.
I got Mark Hooks just come online, and he's put, can you please buy out AXO and make it proper gear again? Maybe you should get into that as well, Jeff.
No, I don't want no part of that, dude. That's cutthroat. There's so many clothing companies now that would be impossible. But listen, when Jim Hale let go of that company and started Mechanics Wear, it kind of went downhill. They had a great run for years in America. So it is what it is.
Was there any guys you didn't like racing with?
Not that I didn't like racing with. There was guys that, and listen, I say this now. There's guys now that race that if they make a dirty pass, they don't, in the next turn, they don't look over their shoulder. They think nothing's happening. Well, dude, if you make a dirty pass on me, you damn straight is coming right back at you. You know what I'm saying? And guys don't think that now. So you have to know your competition. I just feel guys just go out there and race now and they don't know their competition and they just think they're invincible. So I knew when I was racing who I was around and how they treated me and how they reacted to maybe what I would do to them. And so I told you, Bradshaw and I, we could battle. I knew he wasn't going to take me out. Same here. But then there was guys like Jeff Emming that if he was behind me, dude, I'm looking over my shoulder the whole time because I know he's coming at me. I mean, he had no respect for not. I mean, Jeff and I, we love each other now. We get along great. But that's just how, you know, that there was kind of a new era that came in late after me, and they didn't care. They're taking your front wheel down. So you had to know who was behind you and how to react around them and what they were doing. And I just feel guys don't do that now. So it's knowing your competition, knowing how to race them, how to treat them, and how to act around them.
Yeah.
That
some homework.
I knew how to handle. Yeah, you had to do your homework. Absolutely.
Yeah. Have you got any funny stories you can tell us when you're racing? Any traveling stories?
Funny stories. I mean, the underwear story you can't complain about.
Yeah, that's right. You can't get much better than that.
My best story. my best stories are with a longtime sponsor. Anybody in Europe that knew me or traveled around me know that I had a companion that traveled everywhere with me. Scott USA, Bevo Forte. I never went anywhere without Scott. He was like my motocross, without Bevo. He was like my motocross father. And man, we've had some great stories traveling in Europe, jumping in the buses and going from country to country. And Bevo, he was the man. And I had a ton of good adventures traveling through Europe, motocross destinations, because we'd go over for a week, 2 weeks, and ride at a bunch of places and travel around, and then all the European races I did. So Bevo was my mainstay, and we just had so many great stories. To think about one or to talk about one, it's impossible. They were everywhere.
Did you ever see Ian Chesterman on Facebook? Did you ever see Namur, the Belgian one with a Sidadel and the? Did you ever see that track?
Yes.
Did you ever go there? Just seen it on like video?
Yes.
Yeah. What did you think of that?
That would have been my track. Rough, gnarly, nasty. Absolutely. Yeah. That's right up my wheelhouse.
Yeah, I think you would have enjoyed that for sure. As a youth rider, did you travel much? Obviously, I gathered you probably had to travel quite a bit around America.
So my last 2 years as an amateur, my dad and I jumped in the old farm truck, and we drove to every outdoor national and raced the amateur part of that pro national. So back in the day, they had amateur races on like Friday, Saturday, the professional race on Sunday. And so we would go and race all those amateur events just to get time on that professional track. So yeah, as most good amateurs do, they do a lot of traveling late in their amateur career to get time on those tracks. And so yeah, I was fortunate to have a family that without them, just as any professional racer, without your parents, you're going nowhere.
So since once you left Honda, did you just go back into the farming like you're doing now then?
Yes. Yep. I've been right in the same area right here in Sherwood, Michigan. My wife and I have been together since 8th grade in high school. Just high school sweethearts. And so she went on and played basketball in college, went on and got her medical degree. She's a doctor. And so, yeah, we've been right here in Sherwood, right here close to the farm the whole time.
So life's good then, Jeff?
I got no complaints. Life is good. I've got a 21-year-old son and a 24-year-old daughter. My daughter's in vet school. She's a multi-champion horse jumper, did equestrian her whole career, and her passion is horses. And so she's in vet school, wants to be a large animal surgeon. And my son is a senior in college in crop and soil science and horticulture. They're both up and on their way to be successful. So, yeah, I can't complain. It's all good.
And a lot of plans going ahead as well.
Plans going ahead is make memories at my stone barn, my wedding venue. I got a lady that runs that for us, but like I said, we put on 50 weddings a year there. And I'm putting my focus on Jeff Stanton Adventures. I want to get people to fly over, do a 3-day ride with me, a 5-day ride with me, and hang out and do exactly what we're doing right now. Honestly, sit around the campfire, tell stories, and go out and ride, go out and ride and enjoy each other's company. And I'm doing it small. I'm only doing 4 people at a time. I'm keeping the adventure really small. I want it to be personal.
Yeah, personal.
I'm keeping it low key and showcase some product and make some memories for people.
I think that would be really cool. I think there'd be a lot of interest in that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's opened up a lot of people's eyes in the real Jeff Stanton. If you didn't know him before, what a legend. Quite a few people making comments about what a legend, what a professional, saying about how obviously the sport in general. Will you need a bike license? Adam Winslet from Farley's just put about that.
Yes. You'll have to have a cycle endorsement because we're going to be riding on state roads and 2-track roads. So cycle endorsement, all that'll be on the website. So yeah, for sure.
You've already got people coming down the comments saying, I'm feeling that trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people are going to be well into that, Jeff. Train hard, race hard, someone else has put. Definitely did that, Jeff, didn't you? What training did you do, Jeff? What was your... Oh, there he goes. That was short and sweet, as it were, people. It looks like the battery's gone off the Mr. Stanton's phone. But wow, did I cram in as many questions as I could in an hour. Wow. I literally just blitzed through my whole 30 questions, all your questions, literally just couldn't ask him fast enough. But we got to speak to Jeff Stanton live. How cheeky is that? And we got an exclusive as well on his new adventure thing that he's going to do in Michigan. How cool is that? Looks like quite a few of you would be bang up for that, doing that with Jeff. Imagine how it's like he said, it's going to be quite personal by the sounds of it. Ben's laughing. I literally could not get enough questions in. I was doing that like bang, 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 bang. Oh, wow. To be fair, who wouldn't? If I could get to just a hello from Jeff Stanton, it would have done me any time in my life. But to speak to him for an hour while we're farming, we're doing all sorts. We've got a quick glimpse into his garage and some old bikes and some vintage bikes. And then we were back out. We were back out farming again. Then we were in the car, back out the car, back in the car again. Lost a little reception now and then, but wow. We got to speak to the man live, Mr. Jeff Stanton, 6 times. Love it. Thanks, Mick. You did goodly. I tried my best, mate, but it was literally by the seat of my pants, literally. I was literally looking down, looking at your guys' comments, doing that shit. And Jeff was answering really quickly as well, because obviously you could feel the end of his phone coming to an ear. When he said 5%, I was like doing that, like, I need toweling down here. No comment on JMB, plenty of comment on Healy. Yes, that was very interesting, wasn't it? Yeah, especially as the fact that I'm probably going to do another part 2 with Mike Healy as well. And I'm definitely going to have to do a part 2 with Mr. Stanton for sure. Hopefully get him in a non-busy period. But to be fair, he probably is busy all the time. If he's doing all the farming and everything as well, he's clearly flat out. Sounds like he's going to be even busier soon. But that sounds quite cool. It said, what did he say? It was going to make it really personal experience, round campfires, chatting with Jeff Stanton about the day. Imagine that. How cool would that be? I'm sure he said he was only doing about 3 or 4 riders in his trips. Amazing. Really cool. But I crammed in as much as I could, people. Get the pair of them together. Yeah, Jeff, do you mind if can we get you and Mike together? Can you imagine? Mike, would be all right? I bet Mike would be up for it. Right, there was something else I was going to say as well. Right, people. I did my best in that hour. Got as many questions in. I think I pretty much got most of your questions in that had come on in that time. And I literally asked like 30 odd questions I've got down just as backup, just to be prepared, really. I'm glad I did, because we didn't have the time to even look down half of the comments. It was that quick. But yeah, I'm sure there's not that many people that have spoken to Jeff live this day and age, and for an hour live. That was cool. But I will definitely, I'll speak to him. He texts me back and everything. It was just awesome. Getting a text from Jeff Stanton. I was like, woo, I got a text from Jeff Stanton. But yeah, I'll text Jeff and I'll say to him, maybe we can get him on again soon when he's not too busy, and we'll try and do that again. But yeah, people on the bike competition, Rob Herron's bike, really appreciate everyone. I've been speaking to a lot of people today, getting a few messages out. I think I've only got 32 or 33 tickets left now. So if people want to message me for that, as soon as I've got them tickets done, we'll do a live draw, hopefully before Christmas, fingers crossed. Also, don't forget this Thursday evening, 7 p.m, I've got none other than Eric Gunderson, 7 p.m, live on Thursday. What an absolute legend he was of Speedway. 3-time individuals world Speedway champion, many I think it was 17 world titles in total, with the World Pairs Championships and the World Team Cup, winning medals with Team Denmark, and obviously long track champion a couple of times. I think that is right as well. So that's amazing to get him on. Can't wait for that Thursday night. So that's 7 p.m. UK, so you can join me for that one. I did write some groups down for that meeting next year. This is roughly what we're looking at to start with, and then we're going to go from there, basically seeing on the interest. I know I've got obviously massive interest from the ex-BSMA, and I will just put it out there, quite a few people have asked me, you don't have to be ex-BSMA. Obviously if you ride your retro bikes, or you just ride in general and you'd love to be part of the event, then yeah, definitely be open to you guys as well. But these are just the groups I've written down for now. You can obviously let me know your thoughts and everything. So basically there's going to be 3 youth groups. So I thought we've got to have some youth there. At the end of the day, the BSMA was about family and growing up and stuff. So I think we need to have some youth there. So I've got 3 groups of youth. I've got written down 65cc youth. I had to get all this information because obviously in my day, in the 90s, it was 60, 80s, 100s and 125 and stuff. So 65s, and we're going to call them the Aces of Motocross. So obviously some people may remember that we did a more than 2 day for many years called Aces of Motocross. The 85s will be a mixed big and small wheel 85s, and we're going to call that the All British. And then I'm going to do 125cc, obviously the 2-stroke, and then the 254-stroke. So 125/250 youth group, and we're going to call that Champions of Champions. So you get where I'm going with this. And then we're going to do, as it stands, there's going to be 4 BSMA. We're going to call it 4 BSMA groups. So we need the numbers to be able to accommodate all you ex-BSMA. I've been messaged by hundreds and hundreds of ex-BSMA riders and non-BSMA as well that want to get involved. So at the moment, I've put 4 groups for it. So basically, them 4 groups, we're going to do them in memories of people. So basically, it'll be BSMA in the memory of, and then there's going to be 4 groups of that. So they're going to be the BSMA in memory of David Ashby, which is obviously my dad. There's also going to be another group, BSMA in the memory of Steve Wheeler, which is my business partner. Mr. Kevin Wheeler rode BSMA for a lot of years. His dad helped him, and as we all know, our fathers and our mums grew up with us in BSMA racing and stuff in the 80s, 90s, and all you guys throughout the years, whatever area you rode in. So I think that's really special for me and him that are obviously putting the meeting on together to have our dads as memory as 2 of the groups is really cool. Another one would be called BSMA in the memory of Chris Tucker, who used to be the chairman and president and everything at Morden Motocross, personally special to myself as well. What a great guy he was throughout my riding career. What a top man he was. Yeah, it was really sad to hear about Chris when that happened. I was obviously always racing with his son Adam Tucker, great lad. So that would be special to us as well. And the other group we're going to put in memory of Mark Cucklebridge. Don't really need to say too much about that. What a legend of a guy. Raced with him personally. What a top lad he was. I did speak to mentioned it to Emma Huckerbridge and just said, would it be okay to do that? And she said, of course. She said if he was here with us now, he'd want to be involved and he'd want to be helping you with the meeting. That was really cool to hear from Emma. And I know they went on and actually ran Morden Motocross Club for a while as well. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, so we're going to name them 4 groups after that. And then we're going to have that group called the Legends of Motocross, which will be any of the ex-pro guys that just want to come, have a few demonstration laps, as it were, chilled out, not a race. They'll have a 15-20 minute session, as it were, and they can just go off at their own leisure from the start area and do a few demonstration laps, chilled out, and then we'll do that. So basically, and then on the riders' side, basically what we're going to do is it'll be like races for the youth guys both days. We're looking at 3 and 3. But the BSMA groups, obviously, I did mention to everyone that it'd be a practice day on the Saturday. So what I'm going to change that into, with the idea of the 4 BSMA groups as I've got it at the minute, may need to add one, may need to take one away, whatever that situation is on the numbers. We're going to have to sort of put them in some sort of groups. So what I'm going to do with that is on the Saturday, the first session of say like 15-20 minutes, I think I put down. The first lot of the BSMA on the first day would be like a 15 minutes practice. So that will just literally be a practice. And then for your other 2 sessions on the Saturday, to be replacing obviously 3 races that you normally do. So the first one would just be a practice session. You go out practice. The other 2 sessions for the BSMA groups on the Saturday would be timed. So obviously we'll have transponders and all that sort of thing. So basically those 2 sessions for the rest of the Saturday will be timed for all the BSMA, ex-BSMA guys or non-BSMA, whatever those guys are. So basically then we'll be able to put them in groups for the Sunday 3 races in the times. So you get what I'm saying? So the first 40, as it were, would be in the first group, second, third, fourth, etc. And we'll decide which ones they are in memory of at that time, or before then, obviously. But yeah, so just one of the ideas at the minute, and we'll go from there. So yeah, hopefully soon we'll have some more information on the meeting, and I will get booking people in, things like that, numbers and all that sort of stuff. Just having a quick comment because I haven't looked at anyone yet. Thanks, Lee, you did greatly, and you're getting your dinner early tonight. Yes, I will. Yeah, you're right there, mate. Gary, quality, such a nice fella. He was very open, wasn't he, and very down to earth. Really cool to speak to Jeff. I think Jeff enjoyed himself. Yeah, I think he actually did. He seemed very fun. Is Jeff surprised about continuing? Sorry, Chris, he's obviously gone off. Over 16 stone class. That's a good one. What, over 16, over 17? Nice. Bang up for that meeting, mate. Try and get making Herring, Nickel and Thought there so we can resign my MX Donations shirt. Mailing, not making. Sounds quality, mate. But yeah, I'll do my best to get as many ex-pros there. There's been a few, like I've told you, that have definitely told me they're going to come. I'm pretty sure Herring's tried to put the date in, so that'd be cool. The guys didn't want any pressure, so I think it suits them and suits us. We'd love to see them going around. We'll have photographers there and that sort of thing, and people filming. So it'd be just great to have those guys mingling around, chilling out over the weekend. They can sign some autographs, things like that, but they'll have 3 sessions a day where they can just go out, ride a few laps, almost demonstration laps if it were. They won't be racing, but I'm sure they'll put in a few laps of some speed on, I'm sure. But it's then it's chilled out, no pressures. People can get their pictures, and you can obviously mingle with them guys over the weekend, and that'd be really cool. Maybe get them involved with some trophies and all that at the end of the weekend. That'd be good as well. Obviously, have some fun as well. So yeah, I know Greg Hansen said to me he's going to get out there on a 500 Kawasaki. That'd be really nice to see. Brian Jorgensen told me he'll definitely come over. It'll probably help a lot of the guys, because obviously everyone will be heading to Farley the week after, including myself. Can't wait for that. Still not seen a Farley donations. Was doing all my football and everything, so I can't wait for that for myself. So hopefully it'll help guys. If any of the guys want to go there and have a ride round a week before Farley just to have a little warm up, I'm sure it'll help in that term as well. So yeah, I'll keep you all up to date as per normal, people. So I shall see you Thursday night live with Eric Gunderson, 7 p.m. UK live. I'll share this recording tomorrow, anyone that didn't see it live, and I'll speak to Jeff. I'll text him in a minute because I know they're 5 hours behind us. So when we started at 7, that was 2 p.m. for him. So in the middle of his day, look, hence he was well into his farming. Then I'll text him and I'll say to him about sorting out another time when he's not so busy. But yeah, we crammed in quite a lot in that hour, so I'm pretty chuffed for that. So yeah, that was cool. Speak to you all soon. Good night and God bless. I'm actually going to have tea early, as you said, and leave you on that note. Was there something else I forgot to say? There was something else I was going to tell you guys, but I can't remember what it is now. Okay. All right, anyway, I'll leave you on my dad saying, it's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. Speak to you all soon, people. Hope you enjoyed that sweet but crammed hour of fun. Speak to you soon.